Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday. I always love Tuesdays for a couple reasons. First of all, because we talk to your dad for Tuesdays with Charlie. That's always fun.
Yes.
And also because Monday's done. So that's the other really good reason. Hey, I got some interesting info here. It says New Scientist magazine reported that a number of new internet-related addictions are out now. One is called cyberchronodia, which means it's the fear that you have every disease you read about on the internet. You ever have that where you see something online, you're like, oh, I think I have that?
No, I'm not usually that terrified. But if I am looking up something in particular, I can get worried, but I hardly ever go and look for stuff. So,
Yeah. Well,
so no, I wouldn't say I'm addicted to that.
here's some signs that you know when you're addicted to the internet. If you're writing a letter and you find yourself placing .com after every period, so you put a dot and then you put com, that you might be addicted to the internet. Another one, you bookmark. Your bookmark takes 15 minutes to scroll from top to bottom. Yeah, you might be addicted to the internet. Your eyeglasses have a website burned into them. Yeah, that could mean that you're online a little too much. You find yourself brainstorming for new subjects to search. You're like, all right, what can we search for next? Yeah, that's probably a bad thing. You refuse to go on a vacation to a spot that doesn't have electricity, phone lines, or Wi-Fi. That kind of sounds like me. You spend half the plane trip on your computer with your computer on your lap and your child in the overhead compartment. That's the final sign that you might be on the internet too much. Coming up, we got some special things happening today. We'll tell you what after this.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Thought you'd never ask. It's Tuesday, the 22nd day of March. Today is American Diabetes Association Alert Day.
There you go.
So, for those of you who are diabetic, today is a day to be alerted that you're diabetic, I guess. I'm not sure. My father was diabetic, and I know I have a higher chance of becoming diabetic, but thus far, knock on some wood, I'm not diabetic. Today is also World Day of Water and World Water Day. Both of those.
Okay.
It's As Young as You Feel Day, Education and Sharing Day, International Day of the Seal, National Goof Off Day, Tuskegee Airmen Day, and World Day of Meta. So
I am going to celebrate National Goof Off Day.
that is a good day to celebrate. We should goof off and maybe talk to some seals. It's an International Day of the Seal. I don't know where we would find a seal. I don't know.
I
if
don't
we have any
either.
of those. Coming up in a bit, I can tell you a place that we could find one. I got a story later in the program. Guarantee you they'll have a seal there. Coming up in a bit, we've got a lot of fun things, so stick around. It's all on the way on a Tuesday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by Knowles Systems. If you have funds earning less than 6%, listen to this. Commercial mortgage bridge loans pay 6% to 8%. That might be just what you need. You're placed in first position on loans secured by high-quality commercial real estate like hotels, apartments, and office buildings. Your principal never fluctuates in value. You receive 6% per year paid monthly, and your principal is returned in full at the end of each cycle. You never pay commissions, management fees, or asset charges, and you can make these loans inside or outside of an IRA. I'll give you a toll-free number to call, 888-547-8007. Start earning 6% now. Call 888-547-8007.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Don't do that good deed today. Baking cookies for a little old lady has 2 teenage girls in trouble with the law.
What?
And they're being sued by the old lady.
What?
Durango, Colorado. A couple of teenage girls surprised their neighbor with some homemade cookies.
Yeah.
They were ordered to pay nearly $900 in medical bills to a woman. Do you know what's going on here?
I can assume they put marijuana in the cookies.
Well, let me finish and I'll tell you what it is here. She has stated that she had to go to the hospital. 17-year-old Taylor Ostegard, 18-year-old Lindsay Jo Zaletti baked chocolate chip cookies and sugar cookies, and this has been a while back. They made packages with half a dozen cookies. Each had added large red construction paper hearts and had a message, "Have a great night, love, the T&L Club." Again, Lindsay and Taylor. They set off to make their deliveries, but 49-year-old Juanita Renee says that she saw shadowy figures outside of her house knocking on the door. She yelled, "Who's there?" And nobody answered. The figures ran away. The teens said they didn't answer because they wanted it to be a surprise. Juanita says she was so frightened she spent the night at her sister's house. Then she went to the hospital the next morning because she still was shaking and had an upset stomach. Get this, the kids' families offered to pay her medical bills, but she declined and sued them instead, saying that, quote, their apologies were not sincere and they were not offered in person. After the judge's decision was announced, Taylor's mom said the girls cried and cried. So these girls were trying to be nice. They brought their neighbor. Again, she's 49. It's not like she's 90. So the headline says a little old lady.
I'm a little confused by this story. So they brought somebody cookies and she was scared.
She didn't even eat them. No, she didn't even open the door. She saw people on her front step and she heard a knock. When she asked who was there, she got freaked out, ended up staying at her sister's house, had to go to the hospital. She was so upset about this, thinking there was somebody out to get her.
Yeah, this lady needs some therapy.
Turns out it was just her neighbor kids trying to be nice to her. So,
wow.
I don't know. All I
Takes
know,
all kinds.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
and this is your brain on drugs. Even police officers can make some mistakes once in a while. Ohio's Jeff Krepna was arrested on DUI charges after he crashed his car into a building. Officers asked how much he had to drink before the accident. He said, too much. By the way, that was Sergeant Jeff Krepna.
Oh, no.
Of the Parma Heights Police Department. And the building that he crashed into was the police department.
Oh, no.
Police Captain Gary Lautner says he is a good police officer. This is an isolated incident. So, yeah, that's too bad. But you know what? They're people, too. Nobody said they're perfect. Everybody, no matter who it is,
Yep.
they're going to make mistakes once in a while. And I'm glad to hear that the lieutenant there, or the captain, said that it's an isolated incident. So I wonder what in the heck happened. But he was arrested on DUI charges. So he didn't get off. They didn't say, hey, he's one of our own. We're going to let it go. He got to pay the price, too. Coming your way here in a bit, we're going to talk about if you need a girlfriend, maybe you should try arson. No, maybe you shouldn't.
Oh, my gosh.
That'll end up putting you in the moment of duh. That is on the way. The headline here says, if you need a girlfriend, try arson. Now, first of all, before we even get to the story, I want to make sure you understand, I don't think that's a good idea. It's
a very, very
no matter
bad
how
idea.
the story ends up, you'd think it's a good idea. No, it's not. It's our moment of duh, so I doubt it's going to end well. University of Central Florida student Matthew Damsky wanted to meet some chicks, so he came up with a plan. He admitted to setting a couch on fire at the Academic Village dorms. He told the officers that he hoped that he'd be able to meet women as the building was being evacuated.
Oh, my gosh.
Instead, he got to meet a bunch of inmates when he was arrested for arson and booked into the local jail. So that was your plan? I'm not saying that I understand where
What
he's
was
going.
his pickup line going to be? Hey, nice night to be outside for a fire, huh?
I started that fire. Wait a minute, I shouldn't have told you that, should I? I could see if he pulled the fire alarm, that would have gotten him out safely at least. He still would have gotten in trouble, but probably not prison.
Wow.
Arson is a pretty big deal.
That's a big deal.
You don't do that. On the way, we have your scoop of the day. Just so you know, I don't encourage you to pull the fire alarm either. That's also a bad idea. All right, your scoop of the day on the way in a bit.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your scoop of the day. If you could bring your dog or cat to work, would you do it if you'd have to take a pay cut, Heidi?
No, I go to work to get away from my dogs.
Well, according to a survey of dog owners, 32% said they would take a pay cut if they could bring their puppy to work.
Our dogs, with what we do for a living, there's
No,
no way we could have
no
our
way.
dogs around. They make way too much
we could
noise.
bring a cat to work because they just kind of sit there and stay out of the way. Hey, while only 20% of American adults are getting the recommended amount of exercise every week, 60% of American adults are eating out every week. So you got that going for you. 14% are eating out 3 times a week. So
Yeah, we did
we
way too much.
Not as much anymore. Last week, our daughter was really trying to get us to go out to eat one night, and I was like, no, we're going to just stay. You were kind of on her side for a while.
I was ready to go.
Yeah, we'll do something else. Hey, a court in China publicly shamed 24 people for unpaid fines by displaying their names on a giant billboard in the center of a city there. Their photos, the amount they owe, and their personal home address is going to be broadcast there for the next 3 months.
What?
On a giant LED screen. The outstanding fines range from $700 up to $300,000.
Oh, how awful.
That is nuts. This is interesting. A fisherman in England caught a world record minnow. Am I the only one that think that sounds?
I didn't even know you could.
I didn't know you
fish
catch
for
minnows.
minnows.
Yeah, apparently it's
What kind of a hook would you need for
I
that?
don't know, like a minnow hook. What do they use to catch the minnow? A smaller minnow. Anyway, 4.5-inch fish weighing 5 1/4 ounces. That is a big old minnow. So
That is big,
tiny
4.5
little
inches.
fish, but that is a big minnow. It'll be years before fully autonomous cars can go mainstream, but in the meantime, automakers are working on ways to make vehicles smart enough to tell if their human driver is paying attention. This could be doomsday for me. Car manufacturers like Toyota, General Motors, and Volkswagen are testing systems right now that would be able to tell whether you're tired or distracted. And if you're too tired or too distracted to be trusted behind the wheel, then it'll notify them.
It would also tell if you're intoxicated, I wonder.
I don't know. The first of these systems could launch early as next year. So.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, I think so too. A recent YouGov survey is talking about how awful we are at recalling things like mathematics and English and science from our elementary days. Guardian says that many adults have a very, quote, shaky grasp on punctuation. It says 1 in 4 admitted that they don't know when to use a semicolon. I know when to use a semicolon, when you make a little winky smiley face. Oh, you're supposed to use it for something else, too? People also don't know how to use an apostrophe or the comma. 17% don't know how to use a comma.
How to use a comma?
Yeah, you know, it's like...
That's ridiculous.
There's some places that I know for sure, but there's others I probably struggle. A Vermont second grader got his mom's boyfriend in some hot water when he told about some special medicine plants that he helped him grow.
Oh, no.
An 8-year-old told the school officials and the police that he got to help his mother's boyfriend grow, quote, special medicine that can cure almost anything. The boyfriend has since pled not guilty to a felony count of cultivating more than 25 marijuana plants that were found.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I bet he's probably not too happy with his girlfriend's little boy.
I remember helping in kindergarten, and they were talking about plants and photosynthesis and all of that stuff. And this one little boy raised his hand and said, my uncle had a whole bunch of plants on his front porch, but the cops came and took them all away. Taylor's teacher says, I'm sure they had a very good reason.
That is funny. Philadelphia University of Science has discovered that ingesting 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil each day provides the same pain relief as taking 1 ibuprofen. Why not just take the 1 ibuprofen?
Yeah, exactly. Why would you drink olive oil?
4 tablespoons of olive
no,
oil?
No, thank you.
That does not sound good. All right, you ready for a strange law?
I am.
All right, in Los Angeles, California, it is illegal to cry on the witness stand.
Oh, boy,
That's
that
not
would be
good.
tough.
That would be tough, because if you've got some, really bad thing that you have to go through, it's illegal to cry? That doesn't seem right. That is a strange law, and this has been your Scoop of the Day.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by Knowles Systems. If you have funds earning less than 6%, listen to this. Commercial mortgage bridge loans pay 6% to 8%. That might be just what you need. You're placed in first position on loans secured by high-quality commercial real estate like hotels, apartments, and office buildings. Your principal never fluctuates in value. You receive 6% per year paid monthly, and your principal is returned in full at the end of each cycle. You never pay commissions, management fees, or asset charges. And you can make these loans inside or outside of an IRA. Start earning 6%. Go to commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com right now. What are you waiting for? Go to commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com. Again, that's commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com.
John and Heidi.
And it's time right now for my favorite program, something we do every Tuesday just because we can. We pick up the phone and we call my father-in-law for a little program we like to call
Tuesdays with Charlie.
How you doing, Charlie?
You're just one lucky SOB, aren't you?
I am. I get to work with the most beautiful woman in the world, and she married me as well. So I get to work with this gorgeous woman here. Plus, every Tuesday I get to talk to her daddy.
You're a suck-up.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. It's getting a little deep in here.
It is. It is. So what kind of stuff are we going to learn today, Charlie?
Hey, do you know who the president was in 1910?
In 1910, the president would have been William McKinley?
Taft.
Or Taft. William Taft. There you go.
William Taft. Hey, he was asked how much vacation a worker should take yearly. You know what he recommended?
What's that?
3 months.
Oh, wow.
That'd be all right.
I like this guy.
I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. And I'm really upset because I knew it was Taft. I said the wrong name. So, yeah, Taft. That was the guy.
3 months paid vacation. I could handle that.
That'd be
I could
nice.
too. Let's do that.
Hey, then, did you know that there are only 2 McDonald's in the U.S. that serve pizza?
No kidding.
I didn't know there were any that
Nor did
sold
I.
pizza.
Well, that's why you listen to me every Tuesday.
This is
because
true,
you
so we can
stuff
learn
you
things.
Don't know.
Learn things, Heidi.
Never pay
Learn.
attention. Pay attention when I'm speaking.
I'm paying attention.
Okay. Approximately 27 people die from using elevators every year.
No kidding.
But did you know that 1,600 die from taking the stairs?
Well, then take the elevator every time. Or take the escalator if they have one of those. It sounds like that might be the safest mode.
Wonder what the death rate is on that puppy.
I don't know.
I'll check that out.
I have seen people fall down and up escalator, though. I've seen videos. It's hilarious.
And then they just keep tumbling because
They
it's
keep
dragging them
falling.
up while they're falling.
It's like an endless fall. It is so funny.
It's terrible. It's not funny.
In the same spot then, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just keep falling.
You'll have to look it up on YouTube. It's
I've had
hilarious.
that dream before where that was me. It was bad.
And then you know them little brown trucks, them UPS trucks drive around?
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen those, yeah.
You know that was started by 2 teenagers with a bicycle and $100 borrowed from a friend.
No kidding.
Really?
That's how they started UPS?
Yep.
Wow, good for them.
Some high school kids?
Well, it says 2 teenagers. That'd be high school.
2 teenagers. Well, the concept for Federal Express was first written about in a guy's, when he was in college, it was like a thesis paper, and he got a C. He didn't even get an A for a multi-billion-dollar company.
They ought to fire that professor.
Yeah, no kidding.
Hey, then, did you know that the older a father is when he has a child, the uglier the child will be?
Oh,
Now,
well,
what's that got to do with it?
I don't know. I'm glad I wasn't the last one born in our family.
Oh my goodness.
Must be some old wrinkled sperm. or
That's what I
something.
was just gonna say. I was gonna try to not go there, but
So that means that's good news for my older brother, and Jamie, my youngest sister, is so sorry to hear about the unfortunate news. Explains a lot, doesn't it? I think she's good looking too.
There you go. Hey, then I got one last thing here for you.
All right, what's that?
And this never happens to me, but you know that held-in farts enter your bloodstream and are bad for your body.
So let it go.
really,
To hold it in.
Yeah, don't hold it in. Let it go.
Oh, you know me. I never hold it in.
No,
no,
don't.
you do not.
It doesn't matter where you are.
I'm one of the biggest farters in the world.
You go up for communion and you say, "Hey, pull my finger."
Yeah.
All right.
Wine, pull this.
Hey, are you ready for your question?
Whip it on me.
This person clearly doesn't know who they're talking to because this is quite a tough question. But they say, due to tectonic shifts, Mount Everest keeps moving northeast every year. So I guess here's the question. This isn't too bad. How far has it moved since this time last year? The mountain, Mount Everest, how far has it moved in the last year?
2.1 inches.
Oh, you were so close. 2 inches.
Yeah, holy cow.
By this time next month, you'd have been right.
Damn it.
You did really good, Charlie. You know, the last couple weeks, you've come really close to
He
getting
has
these
come
right.
close.
Kind of amazed myself.
I know, amaze me too. If you got a question for Charlie, send it to Charlie at johnandheidishow.com. That'll come to us, and we'll ask him maybe next week. Well, Charlie, thank you for chatting with us again, sir.
I'll be here next Tuesday.
Well, we'll be the ones calling you.
Bye, Daddy.
Bye, Fluff. Bye, Don.
Bye-bye. My father-in-law right there. We talk to him every Tuesday just because we can. It's a little program we like to call
Tuesdays with Charlie.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The San Diego Zoo in California has the largest collection of animals in the world. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either. Hey, we talked earlier about today being some special thing for seals, like go hug a seal day or something. Maybe that's a place to do it. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Golfers use an estimated $800 million worth of golf balls every year. That's a lot of golf balls.
Wow.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Chevy Chase was actually the name of the battle that took place on the English and Scottish border in 1388.
Really? Is that who he was named after?
Yeah, and there's also a city on the East Coast that's named that, so apparently. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
And this is the one that I just think is bizarre. In the weightlessness of space, a frozen pea will explode if it comes in contact with Pepsi.
Really?
Yeah. I would like to see that done.
I don't know how they found that out, but
I don't know either.
that's interesting.
And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The idea for Tribbles in the TV program Star Trek. Did you ever watch that? Do you remember that?
I don't know who Tribbles.
Tribbles were little critters. The idea for them came from gerbils, since some gerbils are actually born pregnant. How
Oh.
does that work?
Weird.
I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, but would that mean that your daddy would also be
I
grandpa
have no idea.
for that gerbil? I think it would. I'm not sure. Anyway, there's a couple of fun facts for you to make you think on this Tuesday. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by RadioReallyWorks.com. I know you're listening to a podcast, but did you know the John and Heidi Show is also a radio show? And for those of you who have businesses, you should consider using radio to advertise your business. We can even help you create some catchy little jingles or amazing radio ads that will help pull people in. Get all the details or just learn more at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday. Don't go shopping when you're feeling sad or you'll end up suffering with empty wallet blues. Do you ever have that?
Yes.
I have that all the time, and I don't even go shopping. Anyway, from the somewhere online here, I got this story. It says, to test this theory, researchers offered to sell bottled water to study participants. Some who had watched a sad video immediately beforehand, the video about the death of a boy's mentor, had a surprisingly dramatic effect on the spending habits. Those who watched the video were willing to spend 4 times more on the water than those who did not. Yet they claimed the video had no effect on their spending. This is really different from the idea of retail therapy, where people say they're feeling negative and they want to cheer themselves up by shopping. Researcher Jennifer Lerner of Harvard, they know a little thing or two about a thing or two, don't they?
Supposedly.
Yeah, they I think so. They say people have no idea this is going on. But what happens is if you're sad, you spend way more money than if you're not sad.
That's true.
I could see that. Couldn't you see that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you're sad and you're like, well, I'm going to go do something. I'm going to buy something. That'll make me feel better. It might not make you feel better, but it's certainly going to... You're going to make that store feel better. So they should play sad music in all the stores, shouldn't they? Come walking in and it's all drowsy, gloomy music. Anyway, again, it says if you go shopping while you're sad, you might end up spending more money. So there you go. I wonder where they got the video that they were sharing with these. This sad video they shared.
I have no idea.
Do you want to see it now? and go
Not
shopping?
really. No.
Not really? All right. Coming up, we got a story about antibiotics, but there ain't no antibiotics for a computer virus. It's all on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVRealtor.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVRealtor.com.
The longer you surf the internet, the chances are you're going to pick up some nasty computer viruses. That's because some cool gadgets like iPods and GPS systems and digital picture frames are now coming preloaded with viruses that can hop onto your computer when you plug them in.
Nice.
They're tracking those viruses to factories in China where the devices are made. Apparently, what happens there is the Chinese worker, who doesn't know any better, plugs the device into a computer to test it. Well, those computers at the factories don't have firewalls to keep out the viruses, so they jump onto the gadget without anybody knowing it and ultimately onto your computer. The good news is, if your computer has a solid antivirus software program, it'll help. And if you keep it up to date, that'll help, and you'll probably be safe. But they're saying that a lot of viruses don't even necessarily now come from the internet. They come from something that was connected to the internet that then gets connected to your computer. So there you go. Just when you thought it was safe,
That's right.
you find out that it's not. I've not had any terrible computer viruses for a long time, thank goodness. So let's try not to make today that day. Coming up, we're going to talk about a lady that had some scissors stuck in her chest for 10 years.
Oh.
Yeah, that's on the way.
John and Heidi.
Here's a bizarre story, Heidi. A woman had scissors stuck in her chest for 10 years.
How on earth
Let me tell you.
does that happen?
We assume that the medical community wasn't as advanced in Georgetown, Guyana as it is here at home, and this story might leave you a little queasy. A Guyana woman has had a pair of surgical scissors lodged in her chest for 10 years without even knowing it. 43-year-old Roman Soman, that's the name, that's pretty cool, recently received treatment after breaking a bone. X-rays revealed there were scissors inside of her, and they were apparently forgotten in her chest during an operation performed in 1990. The Guyana Medical Association will provide Roman with financial compensation, and they said they also plan on removing the scissors.
I would hope so.
Yeah, she had scissors stuck in her chest for 10 years. Well, the good news is she didn't even know it.
So it must not have been causing her any pain.
Yeah, apparently it wasn't painful. So that's interesting.
Either that or she had just gotten used to the pain and figured it was left over from the surgery.
Pokey pain right in my chest, but it's
wow.
fine. All right, coming up here in a bit, we're going to talk about some pink flamingos. This story is going to make some people mad. It's on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by Knowles Systems. If you have funds earning less than 6%, listen to this. Commercial mortgage bridge loans pay 6% to 8%. That might be just what you need. You're placed in first position on loans secured by high-quality commercial real estate like hotels, apartments, and office buildings. Your principal never fluctuates in value. You receive 6% per year paid monthly, and your principal is returned in full at the end of each cycle. You never pay commissions, management fees, or asset charges, and you can make these loans inside or outside of an IRA. I'll give you a toll-free number to call, 888-547-8007. Start earning 6% now. Call 888-547-8007.
John and Heidi.
All right, this is going to be one of those stories where Heidi's head may explode. Couple fined $3,400 for pink flamingos. Now, it's not that I think that you're like a huge pink flamingo fan. As a matter of fact, I don't think you'd let me put them in our
No,
yard.
I would not.
Plastic pink flamingos could cost a pretty penny, though, to Ellen and Doug Henry in Lawrenceville, Georgia. They live in a neighborhood that has lots of rules. How you are allowed to decorate your home. All kinds of things. Now they're trying to sell their house, and they've discovered that the Homeowners Association has a lien on their house.
Oh, my gosh.
Why? Because they had a couple of pink flamingos in their yard. Turns out the association has been fining them $25 per day for keeping 2 plastic flamingos in their front yard.
But without letting them know?
The fine is $3,400. The association says they're willing to call the whole thing off for $374. Ellen Henry says they're not going to pay more than $100. If the couple does not pay the fine, the association's lawyer says the group can legally take their $3,400 from the money they make on their house.
Oh, my gosh.
So how in the world does that happen?
I don't know how they can legally do that. I mean, there would have had to have been notice set to the family that
You
there was
think?
something going on with the courts.
Yeah, I don't know. But there you go. That's happening.
This
right
is
there.
why I would never, ever, ever, ever move to a community where people could tell me what I can and cannot
Well,
do in my yard.
But we did.
No, we didn't.
When we built our home, there were covenances in place.
What we could do on our house.
Yeah.
Well, we had to make sure we had a certain amount of brick.
Yeah.
That was no big deal, but I would not ever move somewhere where they say you can't put a swing set in your yard, or you can't have an American flag flying in your yard, or
Yeah,
you
that
can't
is-
put political signs in your yard. We've never had any issues with anything that we do in our yard.
Yeah.
But if they ever tried, it would be ugly.
Ooh, we'd get fined $25 a day.
Yeah.
These guys had some pink flamingos. $3,400 fine for that. Oh, coming up, we do have some good news. That is on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news. And I found a couple of different things that I think they're related, and I think that they're good news. So first thing is 4 secrets of a happy husband.
Okay.
Number 1, a happy husband prioritizes his wife's preferences ahead of his own. I do that. I think that makes me happy. Things that you like, I'd rather go a place that you like to eat. There are places that I like to eat that you're like, so I'll go wherever you say. Where do you want to go, Heidi? And you're like, I don't know. Where do you want to go? Then I say it and you shoot it down. Boom.
Because you always say barbecue, and you know that's the only thing I don't like.
ever say that anymore.
You always
No.
want to go for barbecue.
No. Next thing is compliment his wife every chance he gets. I do that
You
all the
do
time.
that all the time. You
I
do.
compliment you a lot. Number 3, secret of a happy husband, remain faithful to your wife, physically and virtually. I do that too. Remain very faithful to you. Prioritize time with wife. What's that? Prioritizes time with his wife ahead of his hobbies and other pursuits. I'm with you a lot. So I think do I do that? I think I do that. All right. I'm going to throw a link on our Facebook page if you want to see more on that. And then I'm also going to put this on there as well. 7 marriage lessons from the Reagans 52 years together.
Aww.
I thought this was neat. See? And I'm prioritizing my wife's preferences. I know she's a huge
I
Ronald Reagan
love
fan.
Reagan.
And here are 7 marriage lessons from the Reagans 52 years together. Number 1, they were best friends. Who's my best friend, Heidi?
We are best friends.
Yeah, you are. That's who it is. Number 2, they always had each other's back. I always have your back.
I always have your
You
back.
throw me under the bus every chance you get.
Oh, I do not.
I'm just teasing. You don't. Number 3, they respect each other's opinions. I think we kind of do that. We do that. They supported each other's dreams.
We've definitely done that.
Number 5, they shared each other's struggles.
We've definitely done that.
Yes, you have shared in my struggles. Thank you. And number 6, they had fun together. We have a blast together.
We have a lot of fun.
And the last thing on the list of 7 marriage lessons from the Reagans 52 years together, they never gave up on each other. So there you go.
There you go.
I think that's cool. And I think we did all right. Fist bump on that.
There you go.
Because what was it? One time it was something about a handshake and we shook hands on the radio. Wasn't that just weird? Fist bump was pretty cool. I'll give you a hug here in a second. All right, time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening to a Tuesday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
And your bonus break is brought to you by the good folks at Knowles Systems. If you haven't heard of them, well, you need to listen up because I got to tell you all about this. If you have funds earning less than 6%, maybe you should check into a better system like Knowles Systems. They have commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com. If you've never heard of a commercial mortgage bridge loan, I'm going to tell you what this is. It's a loan paying 6% to 8%, and it could be just what you need. You're placed in the first position on loans secured by high-quality commercial real estate like hotels and apartments and office buildings. Your principal never fluctuates in value. You receive 6% per year paid monthly, and your principal is returned in full at the end of each cycle. You never pay commissions, management fees, or asset charges. You can make these loans inside or outside of an IRA. If you'd like more info on how you can start earning 6% or more right now, call 888-547-8007. I'll give you that number again in a second, but first, you might want to just check out the website if that's easier. commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com. Again, commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com or 888-547-8007.
John and Heidi.
I'm not exactly sure about this next story, but I'm going to read it because, hey, we got a bonus break and I got to read something. So here it is. Scientists now say that obesity contributes to global warming. What in the what now?
I could believe that.
The reasoning is that obese and overweight people require more fuel to transport them and the food they eat. And they say there's problems that are going to get worse as we continue to pork out. Of course, this also adds food shortages to the list and higher energy prices. So they're saying tubbies like me are causing global warming. Well, I can tell you this was the warmest winter on record. You're welcome. All right. Sometimes you just know it's not your day. Take Budapest's Paul Nagy, for example. He climbed over a fence with the intent of robbing a house. Bad idea. Unfortunately for our pal Paul, he was confronted by 23-year-old Virgin Ulakey. I don't know, something like that. If that name sounds familiar, it's because the Olympic fencing fans out there might know that she's the best, and I am sure I said it wrong. She happened to be practicing her swordplay when Pal dropped in on her. Before he could say anything, she had her blade right up against Paul's throat.
Nice.
Police arrested him after he was treated by paramedics for shock.
Yeah. Good
What
for
happened?
her.
I just jumped over this fence to rob the place, and she attacked me with a sword.
That's awesome.
A successful bank robbery is never truly a success unless it's done in conjunction with a successful getaway. Finding that out the hard way was an unnamed 16-year-old Toronto boy. I'm sure he had a name, but it's just not in the story because he's 16. The kid walked into a bank and collected some cash from the vault and the tellers and even the customers until 45 minutes later, he had about $150,000 in his sack. You're thinking, 45 minutes? That's a long time.
That is a
for
long
somebody.
time.
And guess what happened? He walked out of the bank and he got handcuffed. The cops were waiting outside.
Well, of course.
Somebody triggered the silent alarm. He didn't even know that they were out there, so he walked out and was arrested instantly.
Walked out whistling the Andy Griffith theme.
La-da-da-da-da. Guess what? Oh, hey, I got away with it for half a second. If you're planning to embark upon a career in bank robbery, by the way, it'd be a good idea to possess a sharp memory. Such was not the case for 26-year-old Terrell Green. Seems that Terrell walked into a bank and handed a teller a note from his wallet demanding some money. When the teller asked what she should do with the money, the man handed her a white pillowcase in which she placed the loot, along with a complimentary dye pack. One thing Terrell didn't take was his wallet. He left it on the counter, along with his ID. Police paid a visit to his residence, and they decided they would help him move to his new place, the local
that was nice
jail.
of him.
So, yeah, that's not a good plan. You know, we get a lot of dumb criminals that we get to talk about on here, and if you don't want us talking about you, just don't be a dumb criminal. Two final things here. A man in China ended his relationship with his girlfriend because his girlfriend had a stringent control of his eating habits and his lifestyle. And he said it was driving him to the edge. Among other things, the girlfriend made him chew his food 32 times before swallowing. That was one of the things that she made him do.
I mean, it's healthy for you to do that, but to sit and watch and make sure it was done exactly that many times might be a bit over the top.
I only counted 30 that time. 32 next time, John. Yeah, I don't think I can handle that either.
No, that'd be a bit much.
A new survey finds 84% of all American adults drink coffee either daily or weekly. You know what? That is up 80% from 10 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. So 84% of all American adults drink coffee daily or weekly. So it was only 4% before? That can't be right. Anyway, that's going to do it for your bonus break. I'm starting to wonder if that is accurate. Maybe it was up 8%. I don't know. I copy and paste this stuff from the internet, so you know it's true. Anyway, your bonus break is brought to you by Knowles Systems. If you've got funds earning less than 6%, come on, man, get with the program. You need a better system. Talk to Knowles Systems. They've got commercial mortgage bridge loans earning 6 to 8%. That could be just what you need. All of the details can be found at commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com.